What's up, nerds? So, I'm not going to do a Beyond the Cover today, but that's for a different reason. Because I feel I made this channel to explain a lot of things to people who might not understand it or just might want more information on something. And that's why I created this channel. And I feel like with all the controversy about the plot between Batman vs. Superman, so I might as well try my best to break it down for you guys, the plot of Batman vs. Superman. Now, spoilers. Wow, I'm telling you straight up, if you don't want to know what the story is or what happens, don't watch this. I'm not going to go with Batman, a lot of the Batman stuff that I said in the Martha video, because, well, watch the Martha video where I explain what that really means, and so people can stop making those stupid jokes. We get it. They mention Martha a lot. It doesn't make you funny. Really doesn't. So I'm gonna get my personal opinion on the movie out of the way right now. I enjoyed the movie, okay? But this is not about me enjoying the movie and proving people who didn't enjoy the movie wrong. This is about me answering honest questions from people who didn't understand it. And I understand why they didn't understand it. There are good and bads of the movie. And one of the bad things is they put way too much story in one movie. I think it would have been two awesome movies, but it's one pretty good movie that a lot of people didn't like because of the plot stuff. Now, when I'm breaking down a plot as a storyteller, I want to base it on two things, either one big moment or one big character. So everything has to lead back in all the plots and subplots and stuff lead back to one character or one moment. Now I'm going to break it down to the two things of the moment and the character. And that is, the moment is on top of the building between Lex and Superman is the moment in the movie, and the character is Alexander Luthor. Yep, Batman vs. Superman, in order to connect all the plots, you need to focus on Alexander Luthor. So let's talk about Lex Luthor's motives, because people didn't understand his motives. Now with Lex, it's always been a thing of power. In the comics, whether he be a businessman or a crazy person, he's always been a man possessed by power. He wants it. And if you didn't understand that from the film, there's a specific moment in the film where he talks about it, and I think people glanced over it because they thought, oh, the main focus is Batman trying to get all the information from Lex. Was at the banquet when he was hosting it at his house. That speech he was giving, he became so possessed when he started saying, like, you can't be all smart and all powerful, but because he wants it. He needs that power. He didn't have daddy issues, like people were saying. Just because he referred to his father abusing him doesn't mean he had, like, he was taking it all out on Superman because he hated his father. He wants all the power. And when he realized Superman was in this world, well, how is he going to have the power? There's no way he can have that power unless if he finds something, a weakness, to bring Superman down to his knees and make him work for him or take him out. So now I want you to remember that's his focus, to be the most powerful person on the planet. Now let's talk about one of the subplots that people complain the most about, which is the JLA Wonder Woman subplot. People said it was unnecessary, didn't need to be in there. Well, and why would Lex have all these files on people? Like I said, he wants to be the most powerful man in the world. So he wants these people to either work for him, to be able to work for him so he can manipulate them and be like, oh no, you work for me now. Or he'll take them out because he'll find a weakness. That's why he's been doing all that research on Wonder Woman, on Cyborg, on The Flash, on Aquaman. Like, oh, if I could take all these people out or I can have them work for me, I'm the most powerful man in the world because I'm the brains of the operation. So that subplot leads to Luthor's quest for power, which I think is what this movie is pretty much about, other than the plot of Batman vs. Superman, which actually kind of is the same thing. It all revolves around him. So let's talk about the other thing, Batman. Alright, I explained a lot of Batman in the Martha video, but main points is he's had a very bad past, lost a lot of important people in his life, and his nightmares haunt him, and he's having these weird visions almost of the future in his dreams as well. But he's very hardened and emotional, at a very emotional state. You can kind of picture it as when a tragedy happens here, those people who resort to violence, that's what Batman is. The people who mindlessly will resort to violence are what Batman was representing in this film. Because a horrible tragedy happened. Even though it was 2 years later, it still affected him to the point where he's like, I gotta stop this guy because, well, what if he decides, well, tomorrow I'm gonna blow up this planet. There's nothing anyone can do about it. That's why he was so motivated to do it. Also, Lex had a hand in manipulating him into doing it and pushing him over that edge, which is always what the smart man wants to do. The smart guy wants the two brutes to fight it out so he can come and pick up the crumpled pieces, and that's what his plan was. So that plot's out of the way. Now with Superman, obviously with Lex, he knew who everyone's secret identity was, including Batman's. He knew who Bruce Wayne was, and he knew he was Batman. How smart of a villain is he? He's extremely smart. I think the whole twitchiness and the whole awkwardness is a part of a facade that he puts on to make people not take him seriously. So when it comes to Superman, how did Superman not use his investigative skills and stuff like that? Well, because he wasn't focused on that. He was focused on Batman, who, due to like Lex's manipulation and making Bruce more motivated to like stop this guy, get more information, he's resulted to almost torture, which catches the eye of Clark Kent, because Superman is kind of the opposite of that. He doesn't want, even though these people are criminals, he wants them to be brought to justice the right way, not sent to a death sentence because a guy in a bat costume braves his symbol onto them. So Lex kind of knew that Clark was almost motivated to stop him because Superman's natural like motivations in general. But we have this kind of point where Lex, even to like push Clark over the edge, Lex sends the pictures of the guy Batman brands, saying like, is this really justice? Is it? Because he knew Clark is all about like, this is not right. And so that kind of motivates Clark to go and warn Batman, give him a warning, because, well, he's Superman and that guy's a mere mortal. Batman's a mere mortal, so it wouldn't necessarily be a fair fight unless if Kryptonite was involved. Other than that, it's not a fair fight. So Lex got Batman motivated to stop Superman. Lex got Superman motivated to stop Batman, but not necessarily fight. They both just wanted to stop each other. What pushed Bruce Wayne over the ledge was the incident in the Senate when they were all meeting. Now, also a lot of people have questions about the Senate and Africa, so I'm just going to go back to Africa real quick. That moment, people don't blame Superman for shooting at other people. They knew Superman didn't shoot anyone. They think Superman has his own army. That's what they think. They think Superman has this line of military men killing people. And the reason they use different bullets, I'm assuming, is to like go like, oh, he's giving them special bullets. Superman's giving them special bullets, knowing that the government's pretty much in Lex's pocket. For the most part, the Jolly Rancher scene where he just gives the guy a Jolly Rancher from his own hands, like, that's a form of intimidation. And that, even though it was creepy, it was a form of intimidation Lex used. So we have that out of the way. So they're blaming Superman because they think Superman built his own army to kill people, which he didn't. It just so happened to be a coincidence. And because Lex did his research, he knows Lois Lane and Clark Kent are in a relationship, and no matter what happens, Superman's going to be there to save Lois Lane. Pretty 2 and 2 thing to put together, which is also building him up as a good villain. Lex was a great villain in this movie, because guess what? He wins. He won in the end. He's the only villain in a comic book movie, I think, ever who's won and got what he wanted. Yes, he's in prison, but he got what he wanted. So we have that whole, people are blaming him for Africa. Then what happened when they were going for trial and the wheelchair blew up. Once again, spoilers, all of this, if you've listened to me this far, you already spoiled the movie for yourself. But pretty much, what I'm thinking is it was coated in lead, so the Man of Steel himself couldn't see through it and go, there's a bomb, I'm gonna stop this. But people didn't blame him for blowing up the courtroom because, well, it wasn't Superman's fault, but they blamed him for not seeing it, for not stopping it. Because, well, he's Superman, he could have stopped it, which invokes in this emotional, internal fight that Superman has with himself, and thus he disappears for a while. This is all falling into place for Lex. Lex wants this to happen. And every single plot in this film is what Lex wants. He wants America to see Superman as a dangerous threat, as someone who doesn't care about them, who could destroy them. And he uses the front of like, oh wait, we need this just in case Superman goes crazy and starts killing people. When in reality, he just wants to kill Superman. He just wants to end it. Why? So he has the most power. So, towards the end of the film, when the fight's about to happen, Lex kidnaps Superman's mother. And in the most powerful scene, which is the scene I was referring to in the beginning, when Lex brings Superman to his knees. To his knees. They've never done that in any movie. I've never seen, like, anything like a mere mortal bringing a god-like figure to his knees by simply outsmarting him. By simply outsmarting Batman and Superman. And his other backup plot, just in case, if Batman and Superman go, wait a minute, we're being set up. Which I also think is another reason why Batman stopped before he stabbed, because he was like, wait a minute, I might be being set up. He might have been putting 2 to 2 together as well. Because, well, Lex has Martha. And wait a minute, I've been receiving these weird messages. Which, by the way, the guy in the wheelchair, sorry, I'm going back and forth because this is all coming off my head. I don't really write this stuff down when I talk. The guy in the wheelchair, the whole check thing, he never got any of those checks. Lex took the checks, wrote on them, sent them back. Took the checks, wrote on them, sent them back. If you need proof, you look at the writing that was on the pictures and the writing that was on the checks. It's the same handwriting. And he openly admits to saying he wrote, "You let your family die," on the last thing, which sent Batman over the edge because, well, Jason Todd, Robert Gordon, it reminds him of those things. If those things are legit in this universe, reminds him of that, and also reminds him of, well, he let people die in the Superman and the Man of Steel incident in the first movie. So he's been pulling all the strings of every plot in this film, other than the emotional, like, questioning oneself plot that they have for Superman, or the whole how is Bruce finds himself again plot, because that comes from the whole molding together. So that's how I viewed the plot, and that's how I think the plot flows. And I'm not joking. If you only saw it once and you didn't understand the plot, and you watch this episode, I'd say go see it again, give it a second chance, knowing what I've just said, knowing that Lex is planning all of this. Lex has set all of this up to pinpoint together perfectly at one center, which is become the most powerful man on the planet, which he almost did successfully. So with that, was it still a bit much? Yes. Were there too many major plots in a movie? Sure. Could they have separated it? Yes. Did they do it? No. Does this movie deserve the criticism that it's getting? No, it doesn't. Especially, like, but I can go for a while on critics, which I'm not going to do. I'm not criticizing the movie, I'm not reviewing the movie. I just said I liked the movie, that was it, and I explained to you guys the plot. With that being said, was there anything else you guys didn't understand? Let me know. I have Twitter right here in the comments. I have no problem answering them. I might make another video if it's like that much to a point where you want me to break it down again. But with that being said, what do you guys think of the movie? Leave it in the comments below. I'm Johnny Nix, and always remember to stay nerdy.